Good day, folks. Testing our audio system out here. Test 1, 2. Alrighty, folks. Some minor technical difficulties, but we're with you now. My name is Chris Hikert, doing some live commentary here in Southwest Saskatchewan, Swift Current, at the 2022 Saskatchewan Men's Tour Players Championship. What started off with 16 teams has now dwindled its way down to the top 4. Battling it out to see who's crowned the Players Champion. Semi-final action, we have Ryan Dice versus Jason Jacobson. And then the featured game here, we have Kelly Knapp and Shaun Meachem in semi-final action. We're halfway through the first end. Welcome and thank you for tuning in and joining us. Hey, Denise. Meachem with a pistol, heavy scrub. Looking to hit it a hair high side, but he hits it right on the nose. He kills the one red. It's going to give Kelly Knapp an opportunity to wrap another one around there, and his goal is to lie 2 buried. Team Shaun Meachem going 3-handed in this semifinal matchup.
How's their run? And I didn't time.
Their regular third, Brady Scharbach, ran out of holidays up in Saskatoon and wasn't able to get work off in order to come down to curl. So Meach started the event with 3. Caitlin Schneider was watching his better half down in Assiniboia in the provincial women's Scotties.
So the difference is Infinet gives us a direct fiber optic connection. Therefore, we have lots of capacity to deliver every packet. And Optimum in-home Wi-Fi uses band steering to deliver consistent performance in every room. That, combined with the bandwidth of Infinet, means that we can have all...
Infinet is fast, it's consistent, and direct to our door.
Or 2.4 or 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi.
Enjoy the speed of Infinet with the coverage of Optimum in-home Wi-Fi.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Okay. Alrighty, folks. Big 3-ender for Team Kelly Knapp. To start the game, Kelly made a beautiful tick split for his 3 to break this game wide open after one end. Anytime you jump open to a lead like that, typical first draw goes into the rings, ideally in the top 4 foot, which they did.
Might have to get it in.
Corner guard goes up.
No, curl. Gotta touch center. Top 12. Gotta touch center.
Okay, so I'm with Chris Heichert, and I've got nothing on my screen. I did the link, and I've got nothing on my screen here. It's blank. I can hear you though.
Okay. Little room early, not bad though. Okay, line's good. Line's good, just make it good. Clean, yep. Yep. Okay, line's good. Line's good. Line's nice. Line's perfect.
Yeah, T. Like this?
Hey, Chris. Eugene
What?
Witzik here. Sorry, we had some technical difficulty
Line's good.
linking me up here.
Tight.
I'm
Yes.
sitting in my office
Yes, fine.
because that's the only
All
place
the
I've got
way.
the adequate technology to
Really
link
gotta
up with
go.
all of this stuff. So
Excellent. Well, yeah, the viewers are in for a treat here. We have Eugene Ritzik joining us here in the second end to help chat our way through this game here. We just saw Kelly Knapp make a beautiful split for 3 in the first end to kind of break this game wide open, but I know Shaun Meachem, I know they're up for the task at battling back. How are things, Eugene?
Oh, really good, really good. No, I've been watching a lot of the curling here. Great curling. And hey, somebody was saying that you're the manager of the Swift Curling Club. Is that correct, Chris?
Oh, is this
That's correct. Yeah, I took over 3 years ago, kind of helping out with our curling club here and bringing in some new innovative things to kind of keep curling on people's minds. And the SaskTel Curling Stadium Swift Current was one of the big ones, partnering with
Awesome.
Jerry Gertz and his Curling Zone team. And it's been excellent. We've been getting very good reviews. Anybody can tune in anywhere from across the world and watch the live streaming and catch the action. So it's been really good.
This has been great. And I don't know whether to commend you or whoever, but man, you guys have got great ice there. I've been watching the games. This is just unbelievably good ice. You can make virtually any shot out here. And I don't know, who's your ice maker, out of curiosity?
So Jason Broughton is our head ice technician here, and he's been around for, well, I'm not going to say as long as Eugene Ritzik, because only dinosaurs can lay that claim to fame, but Broughton's been doing ice for, 40 or so years. He's down in Assiniboia doing the ice with Darren Gress for the Scotties. He will be doing the ice for the Tankard for the men's as well, but he is one of the best, that's for certain, and Swift Current is treated as some of the best club ice I've ever curled on, that's for sure.
Oh, there's a great double made by Knapp. Man, if they keep those kind of shots going, Meachem's
Really good.
going to have a big hole to dig himself out of here for sure. I watched the Knapp Kleider game, was that last night, I think, and no, that was just this morning, I guess. And it was really well curled. Kelly himself just was incredible. Yes, and you mentioned Jason Broughton, the ice maker here. He was the ice maker for Nutana Curling Club, where I've been curling out of for, I think, close to 40 years. 1983, I joined that.
Line's good.
Yes, I remember curling in Nutana. Chris, this is kind of an interesting experience for me to be doing commentary with you. I remember curling against your dad, Charlie Hikert, and your mom used to bring you into the rink and change your diapers behind the seats there. So there's
boy.
there's quite an age spread here, I'll tell you. But you know,
I make one dinosaur joke, and you're making jokes about changing diapers. So
yes,
I guess
listen, and
fair.
I've got pictures if you want. I've got pictures to share, but I won't do that. So.
No, it's good. We were talking in our last broadcast how unique curling is, the sport of curling. You end up meeting people from all over the world. They become acquaintances, good friends, and yeah, Eugene, I've grown up watching and cheering for you my whole life as well. I've had the opportunity to play you competitively a couple times, and it's neat, the people you meet, the friends you meet, and just what a wonderful game and sport this is.
It's interesting you mentioned that. In the last 24 hours, I've had some communication and discussions digitally, of course, with Pierre Lindholm. He's coach of the Chinese curling program, high performance curling program. John Benton out of the States, Mickey Pendergast out of Calgary, and I stay connected with just a lot of great people, mostly coaches at this stage, not so much the competitive people. There comes a time where we kind of go out to pasture, so I've loved curling all my life, and I just can't give it up, so I've taken on more of a role in well, not full-time coaching because my body hasn't given out on me, so I'm still curling in masters, but I've done a lot of sort of consulting or part-time coaching on brushing and the science behind sweeping and stuff like that, and still keep in touch with some of the top-level coaches around the world on that topic, so just loving it, really enjoying it.
Yeah, no, you say not out to pasture yet. There's two legends in Saskatchewan, Sherry Anderson and Eugene Ritzik, who just won't seem to head to pasture. You guys continue to play at a high level and do extremely well, and that's great to see, and that's a great thing about this sport.
It is
you
great.
can play it forever, yeah.
You know, and if I have to, I may resort to the stick. It's a nice in-turn hit and roll behind cover. Meachem is getting things set up here, so that three can look, small, not as foreboding if they come back with a deuce here. So it's, I just love this 5-rod free guard zone rule. I was actually going to quit curling in the 90s because it was getting so freaking boring and cold. You stand there as a skip, and it was like golfing with a driver and a putter. You put the boom down to hit, or you put the boom down to draw, and there was very rarely anything else. But when the free guard zone rule came in, I got excited again because it's like golfing with a full set of clubs. You've got all the different shots that you've got to make here, and it's just great to see stuff like this. At one time, one year we were curling, and we kept stats on our scores, and there wasn't one game we lost. If we were tied, those are 10-end games. If we were tied or one up or tied after 5 ends, there wasn't one game we lost in a period of about 3 or 4 months there, because we just practiced throwing the high hard ones, and that's how wicked it was there. So it's certainly changed and for the better. Just loving this.
It initially, when it came in, would that have been mid-90s that the
Yes.
3 rock guard zone rule came
Yes.
into effect? And who created that? Did the Howards have something to do with that?
Yeah, Russ Howard, Ed Lukowich, Curling Canada, a lot of people sort of got on the wagon and realized that something had to happen. You know, this is the problem with curling for too long. There's a nice looking in-turn shot.
Keep going.
He's got enough weight to push it back. This would be awesome. Not bad.
That you can move that rock. Mind you, it leaves a bit of a pocket for Kelly to come into.
But getting back to curling and the way it's evolved,
You know, for too long, Chris, I've lamented this, that a lot of curling clubs, they unlock the door, turn on the lights, and then they complain that nobody's coming to curl. Like, man, you've got to do things. You know, I remember being president of Mutana Curling Club, and attendance was waning, and we're dealing with millennials that, you know, love it or hate it. They want a quick response, a quick return to effort, short times. You know, it's, I think, a lot to do with just this social media thing where you can click in and click out.
Yep.
So what we started in Mutana, what was called was a 6-pack league. So there was only 6 ends of curling, and kudos to Corey Kohach. He was really instrumental, our rink manager, in getting that. So we started the 6-pack league, advertised it well, and provided some open learn to curl sessions and clinics. And in the 6-pack league, what we decided, so we'll see where this rock ends up. If he puts it in that pocket, it doesn't look like it's going to come enough. So he could. A little bit heavy, and this is the beauty of this ice. You've got to throw the right weight with the right line. You throw a little extra weight, you're not going to get the curl. You throw too little weight, you're going to get too much curl. So it keeps everybody honest. So anyway, what we did with the 6-pack league, we determined that there's roughly 24 weeks of curling. Well, not roughly, there was at that time 24 weeks of curling. So we divided it into quarters. That meant 6 weeks of curling. So there'd be September to the middle of October, or September, whatever it was, middle of October. There was 2 6-week sessions before Christmas, and another 2 after. So we got a bunch of teams to sign up, and they played 6 ends for 6 weeks, and they got 6 beer. After the game, everybody got a free original 16 beer up in the lounge, and it was $96. So we really got a great response, and these people weren't seasoned curlers, or were they intending to become highly competitive curlers. They were treating this as a little outing, and it took off so well that a lot of the people that subscribed to that first quarter signed up for the second quarter. And next thing we knew, where we're at today, we've got, I think, 2 or 3 full leagues, and these people sign up for the whole season now. And the nice thing about these people, a lot of them are in that 25 to 35 age group, and I just love watching them. Their enthusiasm. A lot of them look like fish on ice, but I'll tell you, they're gung-ho, they're giving it. And then after the game, guess what? They go up to the lounge and they buy food and drinks, and that's where, of course, a lot of the profit lies in this club. There's no way you could keep a club open just by collecting your regular fees. That would, that just doesn't pay enough for all the lights and the cost of maintaining it. So anyway, there's ways to keep the sport alive and healthy. There's a great looking shot. If he can hit Noel off a bit and not leave a pocket, he's going to leave the pocket.
That's a bit of a pistol, I think, Eugene. Lying 4 with hammer here.
Is that? But did he leave a bit of a pocket? It's a great shot. Now, I guess you can look at it. You can get a triple maybe out of this. If you hit that top one hard, it'll just slightly kiss off of the side one, push that one out, come back and clip the other one on the way back. Maybe you could get 3 out, but really, I think you got to minimize the losses here. This is not a good end for Knapp. This is not a good situation for Knapp. What I would do is say, okay, I'm going to cut my losses. I'd throw a draw, try to throw it in the crotch here on the inside corner, the one on the button, and let him try to draw the button for 2. But again, everybody plays to their strength. I say I throw the draw because I practice, and I still practice throwing all kinds of different draw weights, and that's what I treat as my weapon. So, but in this case, if you've got the ability to throw the high hard one,
this could be a good shot if he gets 3 of them out.
I'm going to say only one yellow leaves the rings here. That's my prediction.
What are you betting, a beer?
No beers.
Man, this is going to be close to 3 of them. There it goes. Oh, well, we'll split the difference, okay?
Alrighty, we'll split the difference. Yeah. But I think Meach is he's extremely happy, right? He's bouncing right back with the 3 ball, and he's back in this game.
Yeah,
I know that's the beauty of the free guard zone. There's guards up front. Things are going to happen if you execute. And often it depends on who executes the best, the most. You know that in an end there isn't going to be 16 perfect shots. So if you can put together enough shots yourself, more than the other guy anyway, that'll give you the advantage. And that's what happened here. The hit and roll, the come around, a nice hit and roll. The next thing you know, those two that come around and the hit and roll they're going to be counters.
So Shaun Meachem looking for a piece of the 8-foot here to get his 3 in the second end. Stewart just lightly dusting this one. Shaun's bang on with his draw weight. And a big 3 for Team Shaun Meachem after 2 ends of play at the Saskatchewan Men's Tour Players Championship.
What if you could unlock more from your kids growing up by earning rewards points when using your debit card? That's RBC Vantage. Get $300 when you switch to RBC.
Hi, I'm Kurt, and at Flamin, we offer a variety of services to keep your trailer road safe and road ready. Whether it's trailer maintenance, an inspection, a repair, warranty, or upgrades, you can trust our accredited locations to give you the service you need. So whatever your trailer needs are, we've got you covered. Contact your local Flamin dealer to see how we can help you today.
Alrighty, welcome back here, folks. We're just kicking off the third end here. Shaun Meachem with a big 3 in the second end to tie things up at 3 apiece. And we're in for a treat, I think, here. These guys are getting a lot of rocks in play, and they're looking to get at her, so I think we're in for a treat, Eugene.
Oh, we are. 2 really good teams. I watched both of them, actually did the commentary on one Meachem game. Man, those guys, they can make every shot. They've got every shot in their arsenal, so it's pretty impressive watching these 2 teams. It'll be a lot of fun. So you were curling in this too, Chris, you said, were you?
You're right. We lost out in a C qualifier to Max Kirkpatrick, and you want to know what? Karma bit me in the butt pretty hard there, and I'll tell you a funny little story. My dad tells me a story. I believe he was playing Rick Folk back in the day, and Rick Folk was in the hack doing the practice slides, and my dad was a young buck, and he made a comment to him along the lines of, do you need help getting out of the hack, old timer, kind of to Rick Folk, joking around. Well, I think the score was 9-1 in 4 ends. Rick Folk just dusted him, so my old man said he learned his lesson. So it was funny when this Bonspiel was starting, I was standing in the lobby with a bunch of teams, and Team Kirkpatrick rolled in, and as these boys rolled in, I said, what the hell, this isn't a Masters Spiel, boys, what are you guys doing? Well, they came and dusted me in the C qualifier, so I guess you reap what you sow, don't you?
Yeah, you gotta be careful. It can always come back to bite you. So we've got, just checking, you're in Swift Current, by the way, are you, right now?
I live in Swift Current, yeah. Been here for about 15 years
Are you
now.
at the rink?
I'm at the curling club watching the game live, yeah.
Yeah, then you may as well update us on the other semifinal game between, is it Deese and Jacobson, I think?
You're bang on. Why don't I do that? So Ryan Dice is playing Jason Jacobson in the other semifinal. And Ryan Dice started with hammer, and they got the deuce in the first end to go up 2-0. And We're just coming down to Skips Rocks in the second end. Jacobson with hammer, and Dice is lying a pile of reds, no yellows in the rings. So looking like it's going to be 4-1 for Jacobson here. I'll keep you posted.
Sure.
We were talking about the ability of these teams to make all types of shots, and you know what? That's credit to ice makers these days, and how well the ice it is just so consistent that if you practice and you figure out and you can consistently throw the rock the same, you can consistently get the same results, and that just makes for high conducive shot making.
It really is. You know, I often said I don't know how many of these teams would have survived through the era when we were curling, where there was straw on the ice you had to contend with. The ice was so straight, you tried to throw maybe, one rotation all the way down the ice to get some curl. I remember curling at the Hub City Curling Club in Saskatoon. If you wanted to hit a rock across the face and roll across the face, you put the broom in the middle of the rock and just threw quiet weight. If you wanted to hit and stick, you put ice in the middle of the rock and you threw a little more weight. If you wanted to peel it, hit and roll out, you put the broom in the middle of the rock and threw harder. That's as complicated as it was back then. So it's a lot different now. It's great watching this. I don't know whether on your screen, Chris, I'm only getting the throwing end. Are you seeing the other end of here? I'm not sure where the rocks are positioned.
We'll have to reach out to our our screen is only getting the home end, but I'm watching the game live here, and live we have TVs all throughout our facility, and they're switching the cameras from end to end here for us. So I might have to do the play-by-play, and you might just have to tell the stories.
Well, I can update a few of the other men's events going on this weekend. Alberta and BC are in their men's provincial playoffs. And in BC, Paul, I think it's called Shecky, is playing Jeff Richard. And here we go, we see both ends playing Jeff Richards in the provincial final. That starts at noon Saskatchewan time, and Brent Pierce is skipping the Jeff Richards team. In Alberta, and I'll just maybe step back a bit with BC, there was Jim Cotter lost in the semifinal to Jeff Richard, and Tyler Tardy lost to Jim Cotter previous to that. And Tyler Tardy was ranked number 1 in BC, and Jim Cotter has been to 4 Canadian championships over the last 6 years. Again, the Geezers took it to the young bucks there. So. Alberta men, Kevin Cooey, this game doesn't start till 3:30. He's playing Ted Appleman in the provincial final. Kevin Cooey has just been railroading everybody, just like a steaming locomotive in Alberta. I don't think he's had a close game.
You know, Eugene, it's glad some of these men's events are going and Saskatchewan's are going, but we're seeing some provincial events across Canada get shut down due to the current COVID situation we're in, aren't we?
Yes, we see, like in the women's, Rachel Holman out of Ontario got selected. She didn't have to compete. The Ontario Curling Association chose Rachel Holman to represent the province. And then Crystal McCarville from Northern Ontario was selected. And again, she didn't have to compete for that. So the COVID thing is hitting some of the other areas a little tougher. And also some of the rules are different. I think if people respect a lot of the guidelines, you can run events like this and still remain unscathed.
You know what? I've been very impressed with these group of young men that have been down here curling this weekend. Everybody wearing masks indoors religiously. Everybody sanitizing their hands. People doing their best to social distance. Teams sticking with their own teams. These curlers are taking this seriously. They are taking the proper precautions, and kudos to them. Hopefully everybody is staying healthy, and as we all are, we're just hoping we can get through this all.
Well, the end was getting a little busy there, and we just saw Knapp do a run double on the yellows to clean out the house. And so we've got Meachem throwing. I'm not sure which person on Shaun. Is this Kathleen already? No, this
No,
is...
Catlin is not playing actually. So this is Brendan Stewart.
Oh, he got back because Kathleen was playing yesterday for Shaun.
Yeah, so Catlin actually was sparing for Brady Sharback, who is in Saskatoon and couldn't get work off to come down.
Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
So Catlin was actually down in Assiniboia watching his better half curling. She plays lead for Kerry. So he decided to bail on her, and he zipped up here to curl a few games with Meachem. But now that they're in the provincial final, if Catlin knows what's best for him, he better get back there to watch his better half in the provincial final. So he got out of here.
Yeah, and you mentioned women's provincial finals. Chelsea Carey came out in the 1-2 page playoff game, and so she's sitting waiting for the winner of Penny Barker and Amber Holland. After the 9th end, the score is 3-2 there for Barker over Holland.
Brendan Jones being asked to clear the front, and he makes an excellent shot, clears both guards.
So yes, in that Penny Barker, Amber Holland semifinal for Saskatchewan Scotties, we have Penny Barker taking one on the 8th end. 1-3-2. So Amber Holland playing the 9th end's got the hammer down 3-2.
You were talking some of the teams that were selected. I believe Kerry Galusha from Northwest Territories was selected.
Oh, yes.
And also
right.
Suzanne Burt at Prince Edward Island. We're creeping up on half the provinces have hand selected their teams for the upcoming Scotties.
And again, looking at the Western provinces, the Alberta women, they're playing their provincial final right now as we speak, and it's Laura Walker who came out in the #1 spot to qualify, and it's Casey Scheider that she's playing. Casey had to play, it was Kelsey Rock in the semifinal. The Alberta women had a different format. All the formats in Western Canada, the 3 Western provinces for their playdowns so far have been triple knockout, 4 qualifying going to a page, and Alberta women, they went with an 8-team round robin, and at the end of the round robin play, Walker, Scheidigger, and Rock each were 6-1. They beat all the other teams, so they came out in 1, 2, and 3, and then it's a sudden death after that. Laura Walker was in first place. Boy, in our Knapp Meachem game here, it's been some great shooting, cleaning things up. Again, here, come around perfectly behind the guard, but with the way this ice works, I think there's a good chance for. No, I think that's Brady that threw. I can't quite tell. To come around and tap it back. Nice shot.
Nice shot by Brendan Jones, the third for Kelly Knapp. Picks that one out and kind of rolls behind the red corner. Brendan Jones represented Saskatchewan in a Brier with Pat Simmons, Steve Laycock, and Dallin Myers. Late 2000s, I believe, 2009, 10-ish, 11-ish in there.
And they're curling out of the Regina Highland, are they?
The Regina Highland Curling Club.
And Shaun Meachem, I think his home club is right there, Swift Current, isn't it?
Right, Shaun just lives outside of Swift Current on a small acreage, and this is his home club here. Yeah, I curl with Shaun a bit in the Super League here.
Are Super League still going out in Saskatchewan?
Well, I guess it depends on what your definition of a Super League is, but yeah, I would say Southwestern's top men's teams all play in Swift Current here in a Super League that we have, and it's some great competition. We have, I believe, 3-time Olympian Kelly Schaefer curls in the Super League here. TJ Heikert, formerly Zurich, she's a former World Junior Champion and Scotties rep. Max Kirkpatrick has a team as well, so definitely some good competition in that Super League as well.
Now, Kelly Scott represented BC.
Kelly Wood. Sorry.
Oh, Kelly Wood. Okay.
Kelly Wood out of Scotland.
Right.
She's been to a few Olympics. She lost the world final here in Swift Current when we hosted the Worlds in 2016.
And if I remember, in 2016, a love story emerged from that with Kelly and a local person. Is that when they got to know one another?
You know what? I'll tell that story. I misspoke. We've hosted the Worlds twice, in 2010 and 2016. And it was back in 2010 that Kelly lost that final. And that is where the love story took place. Kelly met our mayor at the time, Jared Schaefer. And I think it was love at first sight, or love anyways, after a fun night in the Briar Patch. And that turned into her spending some time over here and ultimately moving over here. And they're married with a young son now.
Oh, nice. Great story. See? Another one of the great benefits of curling. You can start a family from a curling match. How's that?
Nice little hit and roll from Kelly Knapp there. I don't think it got completely buried. Meach can still see a piece.
We're down to Shaun's last stone here, right? So
skip stones. This is Shaun's last one, so he's looking to make this red one go away.
He doesn't have to worry so much about sticking or getting the roll. He just has to make it disappear.
Well, it'd be nice to get the roll, but you don't want to get cute and tick the guard and give a free draw for two, a skipper's two deuce. But
you know, and there's plenty of curl out here, so with the right weight, board hack, the roll is definitely an option here. Those rocks are about edge on edge.
Looks like maybe he's close to getting the
real
roll.
Close here.
Oh, it just
needed another inch of curl. Well, this won't be a 15-second shot. This will be maybe a 7-second shot here to peel this one out.
Kelly Knapp's last shot here in the third end, tied up 3 apiece. He's looking to peel the yellow rock out, looking for a blank here. Well, the boys are bailing. Knapp swinging his broom. That's not a good sign.
No, well.
And it's a steal of one for yellow after an airmail from Kelly Knapp. We'll be back after these short commercials.
I think we want to get the
Pair up super fast internet and incredible TV for applause-worthy savings.
Alrighty, welcome back here. We're just kicking off the fourth end in the SaskTel Men's Tour Championship semifinal action, Team Knapp versus Team Meachem. And an uncharacteristic miss by Kelly Knapp in the third end there gives Shaun Meachem a steal of 1 and a 4-3 lead after 3 ends of play. Updating you on the other semifinal, we have Ryan Dice playing Jason Jacobson. And Jason Jacobson was forced to a single in the second end. So the score is 2-1 for Ryan Dice after 2 ends of play.
A couple of good games then. See some interesting ends coming up in both these games. There are 3 other provincial finals going on at the same time in BC, Alberta, and Saskatchewan in the women's, and in BC it's tied up 4-4 after 6 ends between Kaylin McMillan and Marianne Arsenal. Interesting, Kaylin McMillan, again, one of the young pups, Marianne Arsenal. She lost the senior ladies Canadian final to Sherry Anderson before Christmas, so we got a mix of the old and the young there. In Alberta, after 2 ends, Scheidegger is leading Laura Walker 2-0. And in Saskatchewan, we're in the semifinal stage with Penny Barker playing Amber Holland, and they're tied 3-3 after 9, and Penny has the hammer coming home. So we'll keep you updated on those other games that are in progress. BC men's start shortly, or we'll get into that soon, and the Alberta men's doesn't start till 3:30.
Well, Eugene, maybe talk a little bit about what live streaming or television viewership was like for curling back in the day, because it just blows my mind. Today you can turn on Sportsnet, SaskTel Max, you can turn on anyone's Facebook page, curling team, and live streams. There is curling being broadcast all over Canada all the time, and almost overwhelming this weekend. There's so many games going on, a guy doesn't know what to watch.
It is something, you know. It's got to be, it was well over a year ago, I think, when Jerry Gertz, because I keep in touch keeping in touch, as I said, and not curling as much as I used to, so I keep in touch with the behind the scenes side of the sport. So Jerry Gertz and we communicate, and he gave me a call, and he was all excited about this streaming curling, and it hadn't even occurred to me, and he was really passionate about it. I said, because I'm not very techie, like I'm pretty long in the tooth, and whenever I have a computer problem, I turn it off and on, and if that doesn't fix it, I call our IT guy. So all of this stuff is kind of strange to me, and I'm thinking, Jerry, I said, like, I don't know how I can help you, because I really don't understand this stuff. But then after the phone call, I got thinking about it. I thought, wow, curling is one of the few sports that isn't being streamed nowadays. It doesn't look like it is being streamed. And I called Jerry back. I said, I think you've got a great idea, man. I think this is incredible that you can play a club curling game, especially for the teams that are looking for sponsorships. It gives sponsors incredible exposure. You can be playing a club curling game in your curling uniforms, and that name and that exposure is all over the universe. Anybody that wants to can pick it up. And it just has been, I think, a terrific improvement to the sport of curling, and just going to help it grow and mold it like we've never seen it before.
I'd agree with you. So Mike Armstrong here for Kelly Knapp, being asked to come around and slightly tap the yellow back and sit on top of it here. Knapp with hammer here in the fourth end.
This one. No, line's good.
This should come right to the face of the one that's guarded because of the nice finish on this ice. Ooh, they just got it by.
That's a great shot there by Armstrong.
And then flops over in front of the other one. Yes, and getting back to the streaming with Curling Zone, Jerry Gertz, the king and originator of Curling Zone. This curling stadium streaming format, you got it in Swift Current. It's also in Martinsville in Saskatchewan, and I think those are the first 2 clubs that have installed and implemented this. So it's great to be able to run events in those 2 clubs and be able to promote them worldwide.
Yep, go then.
Are you going to have an update for us, Eugene, on the Saskatchewan Scotties semifinal? I think they're down to the last 2 shots in a 3-3 tie game, 10th end.
Well, you know what? Fortunately for me, at the office here, I've got 2 screens, so I will actually go live on that.
Team Meachem playing this ultra aggressive, not hitting anything. Trying to bring the play to the center.
Yes. Amber Holland's actually throwing her last rock in the 10th end against Penny Barker, and she's coming around to guard with nothing else basically in play.
Winner of the Barker-Holland game gets himself a berth into the Saskatchewan Scotties final against Chelsea Carey.
So it was interesting in the semifinal. Amber Holland's last rock, she came around the center guard to rock about a foot off center with the out turn or outside in, and she buried it, well, perfectly pretty much. Came out the other side by an inch or 2, so we got Penny Barker throwing her last rock and in turn tap.
Line's good. Where you at? Little room, not bad. Room. Get it here though. Line's good now. Yep. Line's good. Where?
Braden Stewart with the soft weight come around as well. Meachem again being ultra aggressive with his shot selection here in the 4th end, and Stewart makes a perfect come around freeze.
I think we can hammer this. Or we can even just play like
A little bit of curling overload I'm in here watching the Saskatchewan Scotties semifinal as well as the live action here in Swift Current.
Gee, I was on mute. I was talking to you, Chris, and I thought, boy, are you being rude? You're not even responding, but I was on mute. But anyway.
I mean, yeah, you could just. You want to look at it? Yeah, we can play golf. This isn't going to go too far, but.
Blank and.
Well, how about that? There's an extra end in the. Penny Barker was playing a tap, and they overswept it. Basically, a little too excited, I think, and they overswept it, and it hit the rock and rolled out. So it's an extra end. Do I have you, Chris?
Close.
Oh, what happened here?
Yep. Yes! Hard! Hard.
Still with you there, Eugene. How are you doing?
There's another tight come around. Up girl. Are you there, Chris? Can you hear me or not?
I can hear you loud and clear. How can you hear me?
Good. Yeah,
Perfect. We're back in business.
Yeah, my screen is acting up here, so I didn't know whether we were still connected or not. But anyway, we were watching the last rock that Penny Barker threw. A little excited with overexcited with the sweeping and overswept it. The rock didn't curl quite enough, so she hit and rolled out the next round.
So we were talking about this live streaming and kind of what Jerry Gertz has done and the conversations you've had with him. It's been amazing. Our curling club is extremely fortunate that he reached out to us and wanted to put this into the Swift Current Curling Club, and we have gotten nothing but positive reviews over our live streaming coverage of every single rock thrown in our facility all season long. Like you said, Martinsville has this. I do know there are 3 other clubs that have expressed some interest. I believe we're up to 5 or 7 clubs across the world, into the USA, Blaine, Minnesota, Los Angeles, overseas in Japan, Korea, Scotland. Canada. So this is definitely spreading, definitely very popular. I would say to any curling club or any curler that wants a system set up in their club like this, to reach out to Curling Zone, Jerry Gertz and their team, and I'm sure they'd love to have a conversation with how you could have live streaming of every rock thrown in your club all season long.
Right, and the expertise and the resources that they can provide are incredible. The viewers just think it's streaming and you and I chatting. Well, you're in one part of the province. Here at Swift Current, right on site. I'm in my office in Saskatoon. Dean Kleider and I covered a couple of games. Dean was in his office in his home. So the technology behind the scenes is pretty incredible. I did some commentary at Martinsville when they had the mixed doubles and a couple other events there. And James Gordon, the ice maker, I think sort of slash manager at Martinsville, he's got a little room set up under the stairs, and the technology and the hardware and the systems that he's got going there to make all of this happen. You know, these guys are switching cameras. Right now we get the two views and we've got an overhead view. All of that just doesn't happen with the snap of your fingers. These guys manage this technology and the systems. They can provide you with the expertise you need to set this up so that it's pretty much idiot-proof to take and well, it's got to be because I'm doing it here.
Hey, you just stole my joke. You know what? You talked a little bit about the sponsors and having a look on the TV. Team sponsors, the flooring. You got Regina up there now. The teams can now put their sponsors on their games when they're curling. What great exposure these teams can now offer to their supporters. And as we all know, curling in general, these high-performance curling teams, curling clubs, none of this happens without support, partners, and sponsorship. And this is just one way the curling industry can give back to all the businesses and partners that have faithfully supported curling and grassroots curling all over the world.
And you know, I don't know if you're that way, but I appreciate that very much. Having curled competitively now for I think about 50 years and relied on sponsors so many of those years to be able to afford to do what we did, I sure make a point of supporting the sponsors that are involved in these events, and I'm hoping that everybody else is. What I especially love is when the Original 16 sponsors an event. I love supporting them.
Yeah, you know, curlers are good for that. Curlers support sponsors and people that support curling. Curlers support them. It's quite easy to support Original 16 because that's one we can all enjoy in. But I'll tell you what, I'll buy my car tires from Fountain Tire, or y'all invest with IG Wealth Management. I'll get subs from Subway. It doesn't matter. These are supporters of the Swift Current Curling Club, and our curlers go out and we support them. So it's everybody's appreciative of it, that's for sure.
You know, and I think what everybody should do, what I do anyway, is I mention to the sponsors when I'm there, and that I appreciate and commend them on their sponsorship of curling, and that, you know, I'm a keen curler. I'm here because part of the reason, or in some cases entirely the reason, is because I saw them involved in an event, and I just know how valuable that is for teams and the sport.
Bit of discussion here on the Knapp Meachem game. What exactly to do with that red rock that they're corner frozen to? It looks like it dead jams, but they would love to get that rock out of there if possible.
I think the guards, let's say the guards a lot easier. And I mean,
I believe yellow is shot rock, but I could be wrong. No, red looks shot.
Red looks like it's shot rock, so Reds have the hammer here. So, you know, again, you've got to decide what your basic strategy is. Is it to steal, or is it to minimize the damage here? And sometimes you've got to play, well, let's minimize the damage. And well, it looks like
a lot of things come into play there, and managing the scoreboard is a big one. Teams typically like to do as well.
Right. You decide, is 1 or 2 going to hurt you? Probably not. Is 4? Yes. So you've got to decide what you're going to do there. And again, eliminate or protect. It looks like they're protecting. It looks like he's throwing a guard on top of it. So maybe yellows are shot rock.
Yeah, it's tough to tell from my angle here, Eugene. I'm going to say red's shot rock, but there's just nothing really that they can do with that rock without it jamming. So this is maybe what they think their best way to force is.
I
think that's a good
shot.
You got that right. Yeah, he still has access to his top yellow one.
So it's again making your shot and then looking at what are you leaving. So by playing this shot, which was a really good call, what they're leaving is a corner, the yellow one sticking out, which isn't going to help Knapp at all because that yellow is corner frozen on the red. So his dilemma is, what does he do now?
Like guys, I'm just thinking if we peel, they're probably gonna hit it.
There's an in off. So this is his first stone. So what do you think? Does he come in off or does he loosen up the stuff on the button? I think I'd be tempted to loosen up the stuff on the button because if you come in there with maybe back 4 foot weight and jiggle things around, you're going to have an in off maybe off the outside red one, or the red one that's on the corner of the button probably gets protected by the yellow one at the back of the 4 foot. So Jake, just what do you think? Just back 8 foot weight, move those 2 around a bit. Can you even see enough to move it around? Yeah, on this ice you can, Chris. I think the call is come around with an in turn with a back 8 foot weight or maybe just through the house weight and move the yellow onto the red, and your shooter would roll over to probably edge of the 4 foot. Might put you in a pretty good spot.
Right, Big Meach has got to like where he's at because he's got him on both sides. There is an out-turn shot that you can remove that red one out of there.
Yep.
And he's got the in-turn, so he's got him on both sides.
That's an excellent guard. Well thrown. And well swept. You're a front ender too, so we got to say well swept. I just skip, so I always say well thrown.
You wouldn't have wanted to hear my comments on the live hot mic when I was playing the other night out on the ice. I had some choice words for my skip who told me exactly how I should be sweeping. We got a chuckle about that one.
You got a mute button, I hope.
I needed a mute button out on the ice, yeah.
Because then he's got like this. He could miss the backside.
It's a team sport for sure. You know what?
It is.
I don't care how good of throwers 4 people on a team are. It takes sweepers, it takes strategists, it takes calm personalities. It takes all of that to make up a good team.
Yeah, and good communication. You know, I would listen. I watch. Well, we've curled enough ourselves, and I watch some of these other teams. They do the same thing. As soon as the rock is released, the skip immediately indicates good line. Or if they right away on release they say it's out, it's got lots of room, or they say it's tight. So that communicates to the sweepers, and the sweepers often will come back lots of weight or whatever. That's vital. That's really critical. And again, I say that from the perspective of the skip because I'll give you the line sweepers. You tell me the weight, and the two of us will figure something out here. You know, so you need that. You need that kind of communication. And as you said, you need a front end too that's judge of weight and also in good shape. It's there's a lot of work to sweep end after end up and down that ice.
Like I just don't see what the good stuff would be.
What did they end up deciding on here?
I don't know. I'm just they've been looking at everything and
Okay, let's peel. These guys like peel and I don't mind it.
Okay. You're going across the top of this?
I still don't think they know what they want to play because there hasn't been a broom coming down yet to call line or to indicate what the line is. I think maybe
what if you peeled that front guard they just threw?
Yeah, sure. That's the shot. I think it's such a good guard. Challenge him to throw it in such a good spot the second time, and that's not all that easy on ice. It curls this much, so I think that's a good call. Rip that guard off and say, Shaun, let's see how good you are. Do it twice in a row.
Yeah, ultimately, if red is lying 1, there's options for 2. There's the draw the button
Yep.
for 2. There's the come off
Yep.
your own red and roll. So there are options.
Yep. And in the ladies Scotties semi-final, they're down to skip rocks. Amber Holland has one in the forefoot, and she's throwing a guard and virtually nothing else in play. And they're ripping off, and Kelly's ripping the guard off. Oh, he just about kicked out his own red rock there. But Shaun will have to replace that.
I wonder if Shaun's thinking if he hammers that, if he can get the red to squirt out the side, roll over, take that other red out by a midful.
You know, with the way the drag works in this rock, well, you got to hit it on the side, but then his shooter rolls over. Well, that's okay. His shooter might roll over into the yellow one over there and double the yellow and red off, which is fine. Pretty much, yes. If you rip it, that red one's bouncing off of that yellow one, and it's going out, and it depends where your shooter ends up.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Oh, no.
Another blank end coming? No?
No, well, Amber Holland was throwing a guard and a rock in the forefort. They'd actually parked that, I think it might have been Leeds already, and they've been peeling the Barker teams and peeling the guard, so Amber went to throw with her first stone a guard on it, and it overcurled. So Penny Barker can see about 2/3, 3/4 of that rock, so she's playing a soft weight tap. They hit it out of their probably hack weight shot with her in turn. No, it's more than hack weight, so she must be able to see quite a bit of it. Looks like Shaun is, well, looks with that ice, he's just looking to pick out the red one, isn't he?
He's coming with some heat on this, Eugene. I think some
It's
rocks
gotta
are
be,
going to
well,
fly.
I think he's looking to just pick out the
Straight
red
pick.
one.
Straight pick, lie 3.
That's a good call.
Now my question to you is there a triple for 2?
Well, we'll see after this settles out. No.
I tell you what, it's your only shot.
You know, the problem with the triple is that you're going to come over top and just bang into your red one. Well, do you know, can you get the triple without jamming it, though? If you hit the rock on the button, and if you hit it to get the other double, I guess you could hit, yeah, that might go across the top of that other one on the back of the forefoot. I don't know, it's lined up. Not great for a triple.
And I'm not even thinking over the top, Eugene. I'm thinking if you hit half a rock, you might get it on the low side, those 2, and roll over and nudge that yellow.
But if you hit half a rock, I think you're going to come into the red one.
Just to see if it's there.
You got to hit about a third. You got to hit a third of the top one to get the yellow one on the side. And if you hit the third of the top one, where is it going to go?
I think you pretty much have to hit a quarter to make it.
Well, I'm going to have to apologize to the viewers. I'm watching the Scotties.
Wow, this
last
is quite
shot
a game.
here.
So,
I don't.
Yeah, this is interesting because, as I indicated, Amber Holland's guard overcurled, so Penny Barker came with an in turn and tapped it out, sat right there, and Amber Holland came around with an out turn around the guard, around Penny's stone, and put it on the button. So now it's Penny's turn.
I mean, it's fairly safe.
Amber's great. Like, she's got nerves of steel. Nothing phases her. She's been well. She won the Scotties. What year was that? Was that 2011? I can't remember when it was. More recently than that, probably. Went to the Worlds, and I think came back with a bronze that year.
I think you're correct. Yeah. Well, it's a big shot for Penny here. This puts her in the final.
Somebody's going to be in the final after this shot because there's 2 rocks in the ring, so there's no more blank end happening for sure. Well, Kelly Knapp is still looking at these angles because I think he has the same concern that I do. Like, how do you make this triple? what's the best way to make this triple? You got to hit it onto the top rock, onto the one in the corner, the 4 foot, at one angle or the other, and then it depends where your shooter goes.
All over it. Ah!
You're ahead of me. Did she get it by? Yes, she does get it by. There it is. Great shot.
Could you hear us cheering?
Yeah. You're about.
I tried muting my mic.
Ahead of me.
I tried muting my mic here. Okay, what's Knapp doing?
So,
I got time to go to the bathroom still, I think.
Just about. Well, they've got the same dilemma that I was talking about. Is how do you make that double? Well, how do you make the triple without jamming one or the other? So
tell you what, I want to disagree with you, Eugene. I don't think you're ever hitting that top yellow and touching your red on the side. So I think you hit half a rock and you're real close to a triple. I think that's what they're trying.
Well, yeah, they are, but
we'll see here.
You can hit that top one. You can hit that top one onto about 2/3 of the one in the 4 foot, and then you would come into that other yellow one. Yep, you're right. You're right. I'll give you that.
But it's risky too. Right out of his hand, the boys are on it.
Use here.
Might have over curled a hair. Oh! It did tickle that red, kind of like you said. But I tell you what, that shot was there, wasn't it? For two.
I think it was, but it was tough, and I think that's what took the time for them to deliberate, to figure out how they were going to make that shots.
A new day is upon us. Our rebrand from Crop Production Services to Nutrient Ag Solutions marks a defining moment in our storied history. Driven by renewed promise and purpose, today we're more equipped to grow our world from the ground up and serve the agricultural community than ever before. Delivering the same valued, personalized service that shaped countless trusted relationships, with access to a new, unrivaled network of business capabilities that will carry us into tomorrow. In an industry ever influenced by change and uncertainty, our continued commitment to every grower's journey will deliver new possibilities. We are partners, advocates, advisors, and stewards of success. We are Nutrient Ag Solutions.
Water damage on your roof, but repair costs out of your budget? Try Innovation Credit Union's Quick Loans. Fast approvals, low interest, no hidden annual fees, and flexible payment plans. Get the cash you want today. Apply online in minutes.
With SaskTel sponsorships, we get to be a part of your community. SaskTel cares. Always has, always will. To apply for sponsorship, visit SaskTel.com/sponsorships.
And we're back now, folks. Kicking off the fifth end of the Saskatchewan Men's Tour Players Championship. Semi-final matchup, Kelly Knapp versus Shaun Meachem. And Kelly Knapp on his last shot there in the fourth end had a hell of a chance to get a deuce, and he came real close getting a single, and I think he was happy with that. It is 4-4. Let me have a peek at the score here. Yep, 4-4 after 4 ends of play. Knapp and Meachem. Over in the other semifinal, Ryan Dice versus Jason Jacobson. It is 3-2 for Ryan Dice, and Ryan Dice has Hammer playing the fifth end. And we have some updates from across Canada and some of the women's curling.
Yes, we've got Alberta, Kaylin McMillan against Marianne. No, that's BC. Kaylin McMillan against Marianne Arsenault. And Kaylin McMillan is up 5-4 after 7 ends. In Alberta, it is Laura Walker against Casey Scheidegger. And Scheidegger is up 3-1 after
4 ends, with Walker having the hammer, and then as you heard in just before the commercial break here, Penny Barker defeated Amber Holland in an extra end, so it's going to be Chelsea Carey and Penny Barker in the Saskatchewan women's final game starting here in probably another hour.
Couple great Saskatchewan women's teams, and I think either or would make great representatives for us in the province of Saskatchewan.
Oh, for sure. Again, in our feature game here, lots of rocks in play. These guys are not afraid to muck it up right out of the gate. You know, we've got 5 rocks thrown and 5 rocks in play. 4 guards.
Yeah, this should be an interesting end.
Mm-hmm. But again, both these teams.
My favorite.
Go ahead.
My favorite memories of you, Eugene, was back growing up. You were sponsored by CJWW.
Yes.
And you boys wore the one-piece blue tracksuits. I think you had the Paulson brothers and maybe Bob Miller playing third. And I think that's when you were in your romping days where you were beating everybody, weren't you?
Well, we won 2 sets of cars, a set of cars in Nipawin and a set of cars in Calgary. And you're being nice calling those tracksuits. Everybody called them pajamas. They were just colorful tracksuits, and they were Fashions by Me was a sports clothing manufacturer here in Saskatoon, and we picked out our design and CJWW colors. CJWW sponsored us for that couple 3 years, I think.
I wish we would have had streaming then. We could have had CJWW popping up, along with names like we see on our screen here, the Co-op and Lewis. So 1 guard removed, and 1 guard replaced.
4-4 game here in this semifinal. Yeah, it's this one will go down to the wire for sure. 2 very talented teams.
Again, Shaun looking for Braden Stewart to get a couple out of the way here. He could possibly get 3. He hits the red onto the yellow, and maybe 4. He hit it good enough. Oh, this one probably is not going to catch anything other than the 1. So
little thinner than he wanted. For senior men's playdowns, are you playing with Dan Kennedy?
Yes. Well, actually, it's 1 step further. We're masters. We're all 16 over now. So
okay.
Dan Kennedy is playing with us in the Masters playdowns. I think we're going to enter seniors. We haven't confirmed it, but we're pretty sure it's. We've got also Vern Anderson playing third, and Dale Neufeld playing lead. Now, Vern Anderson coaches a couple of U18 and junior teams, and Dale Neufeld coaches the under-18 Druids team that won the provincial under-18 championships here a few weeks ago.
Right.
So, and I think they're entering the junior playdowns also. So they're caught up with coaching their juniors, and the priority is going to be those guys coaching. And being that they're both involved with juniors and under 18, we could be losing 2 of the guys if there was a conflict with dates on these playdowns. So we'll find out here shortly whether we can make the senior playdowns. But for sure, we're set up for the Masters. And this year in Saskatchewan, the Masters is an open provincial. They just, we continue to lose a lot of the people after they get retired because it's a lot warmer down in Palm Springs or Phoenix. And so they're gone. And we don't have that many teams entering, so they're going to an open Masters in that'll be Estevan, March 10th to the 13th. So that's the short version of yes, Dan Kennedy is curling with us.
I'm glad I didn't ask for the long version.
I used to curl with Dan. It was in the 90s. We played a couple of years together.
Dan curls in our Super League down here in Swift Current as well. So
good guy. Really enjoy
good
him
guy
on and off the ice. that's the main thing especially at our age. If we're not having fun, we're not curling, I'll tell you. So
yeah,
I've got 3 great guys that are a lot of fun and enjoyable to be with.
we saw a hogged rock there by Brendan Jones out there on the ice. While you're in storytelling mood, do you have any notable hog rock stories from back in your time, or nothing that you want to talk about?
No, the 85 Brier final against Pat Ryan. It only made it about 2/3 of the way down the ice, but that it was interesting after that shot. I mean, before we started the final, Don Lewis, who was making the ice there, came up to me and he says, "Eugene, I hope you guys curl fast." And I said, "Why is that?" He says, "Well, they wanted to cover put out the carpet for closing ceremonies before the final. That carpet's over top of the temperature sensors." And he says, "And I can't do anything about it." So he says, "I don't know if the ice is going to hold up." And I'll tell you, as we started getting to the 8th and 9th inning, we started getting some goofy draw weights, and depending on where the rocks were going, it was getting pretty fudgy. And after pulling up short on that attempted freeze, way short, it was what it was. I mean, I don't live and die curling, and Pat Ryan went on to play the final against Al Hackner. I had several people contact me after that we didn't do timing from touchdown to release, the split time. And they contacted me. They said, "Your split time was dead on. You threw the right weight. It had to have been something after." And we knew the ice was getting fudgy and had to through some pretty weird spots. You never knew what you were throwing through. And so apparently, I assume that's what happened to it. But I felt good when I released it. I remember saying after, they asked, "How did you feel when you threw it?" And I said, "If I threw it again, I'd release it the same way." And the split times that the guys contacted me about confirmed that it was released the right speed. So shit happens.
Stuff happens, and getting late into curling games, and you never really want to be down or having to throw those delicate shots, because the ice does change and ice does fudge up, and you are taking a risk. It's much easier just throwing those high heat bowling shots. So.
And I've always maintained with my teams, like the teams I've ever curled with, we've got to figure out the personality of the ice. Every club has certain tendencies, and every sheet has, and you got to know, when does it start to keen up? Is it the second end, third end, fourth end? Does it hold its speed? Does it lose its speed? Does it tend to start to curl more or less, inside out, outside in? All those variables come into play, and as you all know,
having to make shots within a quarter or half an inch, you got to know all this stuff before you put the broom down to call the ice and before you throw it. So you're right. As the game progresses, there's more of a change in conditions. And, sometimes they're predictable, sometimes they're not.
This is an uncharacteristic end. We've got 2 rocks in play. Mind you, it started out with everything, but a couple of double peels, and we're down to this.
Yeah, I think if you're playing the scoreboard, Knapp would sure like to get a blank here and keep that hammer coming home in the 6th end if possible. Sorry, Meachem.
Or the deuce.
For sure, it's never a bad time to score a deuce. That's a great shot by Shaun, hit and roll right to the top of the button.
Nice touch. He just threw that easy weight. He threw a zinger last end to pick out the red rock, and now he just throws a soft weight tap and a roll. Again, the beauty of curling nowadays, where you have to be able to throw all the shots. So we've got Kelly Knapp trying to reduce the size of the house for that second point. Looks like he's just playing a freeze, and that's not a bad call. If he freezes on top of this rock, he'll be biting the top of the button. How does Shaun get his deuce then?
Right, I guess the other option would be to try to run that yellow back and blast everything, but I think he'd like to see Shaun score this end and only score one.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
They're on this right out of his hand. Diller to post is what they call this one.
Diller to post. I think they needed one more sweeper to come out here. Help him in. He didn't reduce.
Now
reduce the size of the house very much with that one.
Does this leave a split now for Shaun for 3 points?
For sure. That's that was critical that he get this rock into the house, because we've got a split for 3. Yeah, that's too bad. That's one of those situations where sometimes you've got a little tolerance. There is a right way to miss something, and a wrong way. The right way would have been to maybe come in, bounce, roll off a little bit or something. But pulling up short of the rings is the wrong way to miss this, because it allows a split for 3.
Nice shot coming here. They're just containing it.
Just over 13 seconds. That should be nice weight for the split.
And I think he made it.
I think he did. Yep. Nice 3 under.
Big 3 points for big 3 points for Shaun Meachem here in the 5th end.
It's time to give your old phones a fresh start. When you donate your old phones at a SaskTel store, we put phones and phone cards into the hands of people in transition shelters fleeing domestic abuse and youth transitioning out of social services care. Be the reason behind someone's fresh start. Learn more at SaskTel.com/fresh start.
Life is about more than money, and it can be tough juggling family, friends, and work, eating healthy, and managing your time. There are lots of things we have to make time for every day. Mercator Financial can help provide clarity to things in life you want and help you execute a plan to get more out of life. Their wealth advisors offer personalized service for your investment, insurance, and retirement planning needs. They'll help you discover what matters most to you. Wake up and achieve your wealth plan. Let Mercator Financial awaken your wealth today at number 3, 250 Central Avenue North in Swift Current.
A new day is upon us. Our rebrand from Crop Production Services to Nutrient Ag Solutions marks a defining moment in our storied history. Driven by renewed promise and purpose, today we're more equipped to grow our world from the ground up and serve the agricultural community than ever before. Delivering the same valued, personalized service that shaped countless trusted relationships, with access to a new, unrivaled network of business capabilities that will carry us into tomorrow. In an industry ever influenced by change and uncertainty, our continued commitment to every grower's journey will deliver new possibilities. We are partners, advocates, advisors, and stewards of success. We are Nutrient Ag Solutions.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Sask Curling Tour Players Championship in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. Brought to you by SaskTel and Curling Stadium, the streaming supplier for this event, provider.
Line's good. Line's nice. Go if you need to. Line's great. Make it good. Line's
I
perfect.
don't know what the score is. I think the score isn't right. The score has been updated, but can you read the score?
Yeah, it's 7-4 for Meachem right now.
7-4 for Meachem, right. Meachem just played a split. He played a nice hit and roll with his first rock, and then played a split for 3. So
like one over there?
Big 3 under. So still a close game.
So you guys had a pretty good run, man. You've been on hard luck this year trying to get all four of you together at one time. I know earlier in the season, of course, Ryan, you played with the Regina Rams junior football team. Is that correct?
Yeah, with the CIS team that I've been playing. So yeah, it has been a little bit of an adventure getting all four of us together, but it's been nice having Steve along with us to kind of fill in the gaps and teach us a few things along. Yeah, correct. And he's been teaching us a few things along the way as well, so that's been very beneficial for the team.
So what's Steve doing for playdowns?
What?
He'll be joining us as a fifth and mentor as well, and we've all been practicing lots, so that's kind of what our thing is we've been on the ice probably 5 to 6 times a week, and we're definitely gearing up towards the provincial still.
Oh yeah. So have you guys? I mean, your regular team without Steve playing, have you guys played many spiels? Was it the four of you yet?
The four of us, we have a few spiels under our belt. We actually played in Swift a few months ago in the WCT that was here, and
right.
And it went pretty well, but there was still some early.
Well, it's getting worse and worse.
That our communication and all of that will be right there.
Sure. No, that's right. And that would have been early in the season for you, because when were you done with your football?
Yeah, I wasn't done until around early November-ish, so I actually played in the Swift event kind of during the football season.
Yes.
So.
And then where did you play since then?
We've played in. Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Did you play in Wadena?
No, we didn't play in Wadena, but we went to Red Deer, but we had Steve there as well.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
So anyway, you guys are gearing up for playdowns, our Saskatchewan playdowns. They're February 9th to the 13th, and do you guys have a spot in there already, or I'm not sure what the status is, because there's different ways to get into the, and maybe you can fill us in, what are the different ways that you can qualify for the provincial tankard, men's tankard here in Saskatchewan?
Absolutely. So there's a couple ways. So there's one with the SaskTour points, and then there's another one with the Canadian rankings points, and then there's also a last chance bonspiel. I can't remember the exact dates on that, but that's within the next week or two, I believe. Mm-hmm. So after this weekend, we should have enough points. We haven't quite written all the numbers, but we should have enough points to qualify automatically to the provincials. And so then we should be there, but the last chance is at the Nutana as well, so that should be a great event with great ice there as well.
Now that last chance, if you're already in the tankards, you can't go there and play and knock off some of the other guys from getting in, is that right?
Correct, yeah, it's only for the ones who have not pre-qualified.
Okay. Well, we've certainly had a good lineup of teams here, 16 teams in Swift Current, pretty much all the who's who of curling except for Dunstone and Colton Flash. Not Dunstone, Colton Flash weren't in this event, but it'll be a good event in Nutana here in a few weeks. And it had to be really tough for you this weekend. Man, you did well to qualify, because so you only had 2 regular curlers this weekend, and you were the only one playing the standard position. And then you had a spare. So Trevor Johnson, who normally plays second, was playing third, but he was sweeping your rock. So how was that? And what precipitated all of this switch, and how did it all happen?
Correct. Yeah. It was definitely a change we weren't expecting. We were actually hoping to have all 4 of our regular players out here this week, but given the circumstances and stuff, we pulled together and we picked up Josh Botcher there as well to come and play for us. And our thoughts was how to hold the broom, because Trevor's been judging most of my rocks all season, so it just made sense to kind of have that to create a little bit less change than necessary.
Good idea, yes. And when you say all season, I'd say pretty much all your curling life has been with you.
Yeah. Well, he started off actually as our third for a while, and then we had a player change a couple of years ago, or position change, I should say. But yeah,
So this is what is he part of the 8 provincial championships that you won? Or?
Yes. Yep. Yep, he's been on the team. Actually, our whole starting lineup has been together for 10 years. I believe we're the longest team together in Saskatchewan right now. But
that's incredible, and you guys have done so incredibly well. How many? What are you? 21, 22? I forget.
23 now.
23 now.
We're
You're getting old. You're looking at seniors.
Now.
Looking at seniors pretty soon, but it sounds.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I might have to play you in playdowns if that keeps up. Anyway, no, that's really awesome at that age to have won 8 provincial championships, unprecedented. And how are you finding, by the way, the transition now from juniors? What if there's other juniors watching? What can you tell them is the difference between junior curling and men's curling?
I think one of the biggest things is just making sure that all 4 players are bought in, and you do need 4 players. You need guys who want to be there and are willing to put in the work, because the higher level you get, you notice there's not really a weak link. Where in juniors, oftentimes you have 1 or 2 good players that can make some good shots, but it's about having all 4 players bought in and playing together.
And that's probably as far as the experience, though. If you've got the right mix, of course you guys do. But as far as the experience goes, did you find that was noticeable, or the most noticeable difference is that in men's, basically you had 4 solid shooters all the way through, or was there other things that you find you had to change your strategy a little bit and maybe consider shots that you never used to have to worry about in juniors, or what did you what sort of stands out in your mind?
I would say that from our perspective is we have always kind of played a little bit more of a complicated game in juniors, and part of that is our coaching and our shot recommendations. So we've been practicing to play at the men's level for a while. We haven't really been playing at the junior level. So another recommendation I'd make is sort of focusing on more of the touch shots and the shots that are underrated, because a lot of juniors focus on just hitting and keeping things open, but really the touch shots are what begin to separate you.
And I agree with you full-heartedly. I've watched a lot of junior provincials, and if there's one thing I have to say that juniors in Saskatchewan are lacking, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of great junior curlers, is having 100% faith and trust in draw weight or that back ring weight. And I really think I was at an event in Minneapolis here not too long ago with Kevin Martin, and I helped him with one of his clinics. And it is interesting, Kevin was mentioning to these people how a lot of time curlers will practice draw weight. He said when they used to practice, they would go and practice throwing weight that just went 2 feet through the rings and then to the tee line or shorter, and try to consistently throw weight halfway between the house and the boards, because, as you indicated, you have to be able to throw those kind of weight shots. And often in juniors, I found that, from my observations, a lot of the teams try to keep it too simple and would resort to largely a hitting game. And here's the beauty about getting a good touch or being better at draw weight. I still go out and practice, and when I go to practice, like I've told others, I'll take, for example, the outside edge of the 8-foot, and I'll try to throw, once I maybe throw a few, get an idea of draw weight, I'll try to throw a rock to the back of the house, then I'll try to throw with that same line to the tee line, then a tight guard or top of the 12, and then a long guard. And I find out that if I'm judging weight right and throwing them, releasing them correctly, and that's another big part of it, releasing it correctly, I'll have 4 rocks in a line, one at the back of the house or just through the rings, center of the house front. And I'll do that for, rock after rock after rock for half an hour or so. And I think juniors have got to get that part of the game tuned up. So I do agree with you, Rylan, that's a big part of curling at this level.
Yeah, and especially with the 5-rock rule, I know it's pretty in place now, but it's even more important with the 5-rock rule as well.
Yes, and that doesn't downplay the run backs and the hits. You've got to be able to still make those shots, but you just got to have every shot in your hip pocket.
Exactly.
So we're supposed to be featuring a game here. Can you tell us what's happening?
Yeah, it looks Looks like Knapp is just trying to sort of open things up here, but Meachem appears to be sitting good. They're sitting 1-2 right now, and half under cover. So it looks like they're gonna throw another guard up here. They're gonna need a couple big ones from Knapp, I think, a couple run backs.
And both of these teams are so good at that shot. Like Kelly against you was really good. They curled extremely well. That was the B qualifier, wasn't it? Did you play Kelly in a
No, it was actually just in the recent quarterfinals here. That we
sure.
Yeah.
Too many games I've been watching and commentating. Can't remember when you played whoever.
Yep,
so.
they all start to blend together.
Yeah, they sure do. Yeah, exactly. So all he's got to do is put pants on this one, and it's not a sure thing because Kelly's always going to have that. Is that a red? I can't see a red run back, although that's fairly long.
Yeah, there's a long red run back, it looks like, but this is looking pretty tight to the house, I would think. Oh no, it's coming down there. It's a great spot, it looks like.
If he comes around a little bit, that is a great shot. That took everything away. That's an awesome shot.
That did.
And kudos to the rushers and the line calling, because those are the kinds of things that, like you said, takes a whole team.
It does.
The communication right out of his hand, the line's good, and sweepers have got to indicate where the weight is, and then the person in the house can call the line and sweep accordingly for lines.
Yeah. And Meachem's another team that has done a fantastic job throughout the year, playing with oftentimes with 3 players as well, and they've really learned how to manage it, and they've been playing pretty well. It seems to be a bit of a trend. There's been a lot of 3-player teams for a while.
And with the way sort of the trend has been with brushing, and it's still, I think the jury's out on it, whether you're gaining enough by having 2 sweepers to justify having 2 sweepers on the walk, whether it's spending that kind of energy and playing somebody out that's in front, like out in front, for maybe 20% more effect from brushing is questionable. And I think the jury is leaning toward, listen, have the second person come along to help judge weight, but just stay rested, build up your energy reserve for the next shot that you might have to sweep. So with that in mind, 3 curlers, we've got 1 brusher, so it's tough with 1 brusher though. As I indicated, when you don't have somebody else alongside of you helping you judge the weight a bit, maybe even pitching in to help at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just there's not somebody to chat with as that rock's coming down to really confirm where the weight is. That would be the biggest downfall of 3, I would say. But I do agree with you that the 1 brusher is the most impactful anyways. So
Yes.
It doesn't really affect your brushing ability, but it affects the judging ability.
You're right, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll have something.
And it just is easier on you when you can communicate with that other person and say, what do you think? Or, it looks like he's got lost to me, and the other person says, no, it needs it. Well, then, you gotta make that call then accordingly.
Yeah,
it's good. You guys did really well with the 3 of them, 2 curlers, and having to pick up a sub. Has Josh been curling much? I don't even know his background. Who's he been curling with?
He hasn't curled much the past a year and a half to 2 years, but before that we've played him a few times in juniors, and he was a pretty good curler when we played him. So and he's a good guy, so we knew he'd fit in well, kind of fit in seamlessly with us. So
it's interesting. That was great. It looked like he fit in well. Looking at our Knapp Meachem game, Kelly's still debating, or the team is still debating.
Yeah, I think they have a decision to make. It looks so yellow's sitting 2, so if they could ever sit 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, they could have a chance for a big end, but it's going to be tough to get at that yellow that's fully buried there behind the 2 guards.
So this is Kelly's first rock, isn't it? So he's
yes, appears to be more of a setup shot. It looks like.
Yes. Or is he coming around both of this? I couldn't quite see what he's doing.
It looks like he's calling the hit and roll here to just kind of sit 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
Okay, sure.
So
they must see a shot out there with his next one, if there is going to be anything.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Meachem does after this.
With Meachem being guarded, I think it doesn't matter where he rolls. Meachem will be drawing in for second shot. Maybe it'll be a freeze to this one. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This is fairly far back to hit and roll on.
Yeah, and that yellow is sitting there so good, it's already tough to get at too. So I could see him just trying to sit too.
Okay, no, so it's 2 it is.
2, yep. Just gonna nose it right back.
Yep. How was this morning? Was it a little bit heavier at the start? When you was it different or was it pretty much consistent?
It was pretty consistent. The only spot that was our draw to the button path was a little bit quicker than the rest, but other than that, it was pretty consistent. Yeah.
How do you like the ice here?
It was good. We got some good finish as well. There's some good curls, so you're definitely prone to making some good shots out there.
Yep. Oh, it was great. Kudos to Jason Broughton, the ice maker there. He used to make ice at Utah, and we loved the ice that he made for us.
Yeah. It's nice when the ice lets you make almost every shot out there. So.
Yeah. So a nice hit and stick to be lying 2.
Yes.
And I think it's just going to be a draw for 1 right now.
Yeah, I don't think there's much for 2 because it looks like the double would just be a jam as well, unless he runs it back. I guess the run back double maybe.
Risk reward here. This is a really risky shot. What could he count here? If he runs so risky, such a tough shot. If he makes it, he counts 3. If he doesn't, you're down 8-4 possibly. I don't know. What would you do?
The only thing I would consider is sort of the chances of you winning when you're down 2 playing 7 without.
Yes.
Are pretty low to begin with, so I'm not sure that one would be enough here.
Okay.
So they might be better off taking the risk right now.
Okay.
There is still a chance you could steal in 7 and 8, but you I guess you got to weigh out the odds of you making this shot and odds of you stealing 2 ends in a row, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. I think that stealing 2 ends in a row is tough. Although Amber Holland against Sherry Anderson stole 3 ends in a row, stole the 9th, 10th, and 11th yesterday. So you never know.
Yeah, it's not impossible, that's for sure.
Oh, and you guys were uncanny. It seems like this weekend you got yourselves into a hole early or battled back. And, man, you're tough hombres. I'd be afraid to curl against you guys unless I was about 6 or 7 up. Then I would be a little more relaxed.
A little more relaxed, yeah. Yep, it's a good mentality to have for a team. Just never give up, always fighting, right?
Kudos to you guys. Just hanging in there, and I watched we could hear the comments and watching the demeanor. Everybody would just stay focused at the task at hand, and that's great. And nobody seemed to be distracted by the scoreboard. I always told my guys, the scoreboard is for me to worry about. The rest of it, you just worry about making your 1 shot. That's all.
Yep.
Here it comes. It doesn't look like it's coming up enough.
Little wide, steal a 2.
So there might be a handshake here because 9, I'm pretty sure this game will be over. Well, listen, great chatting with you, Rylan, and good luck in your playdowns. And we'll be following you. Really enjoy watching your curling. Keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you.
Is Chris around?
Yeah, here, I'll pass Chris. It's nice chatting with you as well.
Alrighty, well, glad you guys had a good visit. That wraps up this semifinal matchup. It is a big 9-4 win for Team Meachem. He'll move on to play the winner of Dice Jacobson in the final. They're just starting the 7th end. Ryan Dice is up 5-4.
And I'll just give a quick wrap up on some of the other games across the 3 provinces. BC women, Mary Arsenal just scored 3 on the 8th end to go up 7-6. So they're playing the 9th with.
Yeah, see you later, boys. See you, buddy.
And then Laura Walker and Shai Digger are tied 3-3 in Alberta, and we're waiting for Saskatchewan women yet. So that's a wrap with the update.
Right on. Thanks on behalf of Eugene Ritzik and myself, Chris Heichert. Thanks for tuning in and listening to us babble. Thanks, Eugene, for doing that. We appreciate having commentators and look forward to seeing everybody back in the for the final at 4:30.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Take care.
Bye now.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
It's time to give your old phones a fresh start. When you donate your old phones at a SaskTel store, we put phones and phone cards into the hands of people in transition shelters fleeing domestic abuse and youth transitioning out of social services care. Be the reason behind someone's fresh